Here we are, Wednesday the 20th, already so soon. Can you believe it? How
Yes,
are you,
yes,
Michael? What's
definitely.
going on
Very
today?
good, very good, very good. Nice day in San Francisco today, so yeah, so great.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it in. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to get settled here, and we'll get rolling. You got any good plans for the weekend? It's supposed to be sunny this weekend for a change. We've been raining like crazy up here.
Yes, yes, it was good. Yeah, finally, actually, I've got some tennis with the family planned. It has been canceled multiple weekends, so I can't wait to play with them. They can't play
hmm
to play with me. So, so yeah. What about you?
Similar, I'm actually just catching up on yard work. It's that mundane. I know a lot of people secretly know I'm both a chicken keeper and a beekeeper, so I'm going to be maybe picking some eggs and harvesting a little bit of honey and pulling a lot of weeds. So, the exciting life over 50, right? It's that old thing, as a farmer's life is a good life, something along those lines. My secret identity is an agrarian. A lot of people still coming in. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We'll give everybody just another couple minutes here. So I'm a little ashamed. I have yet to meet you in person. I'm actually in the Palo Alto office pretty frequently, but I know at some point in time I'll actually get to visit you in real life.
Yes, and we can get lunch, and you can bring me some eggs and honey. I'm sure
I will
this will
do
be
that.
pretty
Yeah,
nice.
you remind me. I will definitely bring some eggs and honey up. I harvest honey about twice a year, so it's a pretty good deal. And I always everybody who's in the office knows I come with a big armload of jars ready to go. So yeah. All righty, some folks are still rolling in here, so I'm going to make a couple of quick announcements before we get started. Again, so today, this is the second in our webinar sessions. We've basically started up these webinars again. We've done a lot of external outreaches before in various incarnations to support the VMware products. So we're here this week. And we're also going to be doing about 3 times a month or more here moving forward. So be sure to keep your eyes out for the invites. Be sure to register early. In fact, I'm going to be back next week on the 27th with VMware and Private AI. This session is going to be fairly interactive. We're actually going to have a poll. So get your thinking caps on and be ready to answer some questions. And then we're also going to be doing a survey at the end of the session. So once the session is over and has concluded, we're going to send a survey out. And I know a lot of you are going to receive that survey by email. If you don't do the survey at the end of the session, you will get an email link for that. So if you can get back to us on that, we'd really appreciate it. One of the things that we're trying to do is sort of shape these programs to make sure that everybody's getting the best out of them. We want you to get the absolute most out of VMware products wherever possible, and we really want to steer our content towards what you want to hear. So that's really helpful to us for you to give us as much information as you can, because we're here for you. We want to bring in experts today. We've got a good one today. To talk a little bit more about our products and services. So VCF is the big hot topic right now. And it's got new data services and capabilities to accelerate the data-driven innovation. And of course, today we have Michael Gandy. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so you've been here for a while. You're our leading product market. You've been leading product marketing with VMware Cloud Foundation for a while, and you came in as in 2012 as an intern.
That's correct.
That's a while. And so you just loved your internship and stuck with it,
Yeah, that's it. This was the story. I still remember
eh?
when I got my full-time offer at the end of the internship. So yeah, definitely.
Just jumped on it. We're glad to have you. So since then, you've led efforts in multiple product areas, including vSphere, P&P, EvoRail, and a lot of new innovations in the office of the CTO. You're now the PMM lead for everything related to data services on VCF.
Yes,
And then on top of all that, you hold an MBA from the University of Chicago and an MSc from Imperial College.
yes, yes.
That's
A lot of travel,
that's
a lot of travel. Far from home. You might recognize my French accent, but I've been now here in the Bay Area for the past 10 plus years. So here to stay.
mhm. Well, we're super glad to have you with us today. So with that, I'd say go ahead and take it away. We're eager to hear what you got.
All right, great. Thank you, Anders. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Basically, this presentation it will be divided in four pieces. The first one, I will give you some industry landscape data, so you get a bit of a lay of the land of what is happening in the data space. A lot of hot topic right now, but you will get a bit our view of the world. Then I will present some innovation that we recently announced and that we are in the VCF offering today. I will give you at the end some free links, only free links, but I think they will be very useful for you to bookmark if you want to learn more about what I talked today. And I will leave ample time at the end for questions, so at a minimum of 15 minutes, so we can have a good discussion. All right, let's get started. So as I said, we'll start with some industry landscape data. Um, most of the presentation that you will see around data is like, hey, data is increasing, data is important. We see all that at VMware for a long time, right? Data has been at the core for many years with, our innovation in vSphere, vSAN, and so on. And actually, when we look at our telemetry data, a quarter, right, 25% of all workloads on VCF are some form of data services. This is massive. We are talking of millions and millions of cores running on our infrastructure. And when we talk about data services, what it is, right, the top three are uh, today relational databases, right? Think about the SQL Server, Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, right? But there's a long and growing tails of other data services from key value store, document DB, messaging, streaming services that are growing very quickly, right? So this is the first data point. Um, and VMware customer, right, are trusting us for the past 2 decades to deploy, run, and monitor, protect basically your most critical workloads. And data services are key to your business, right? And this is why we are continuously improving the platform to ensure top performance, reliability, resiliency for all workloads. Uh, there's a lot of innovation going on the platform. I just want to give you a quick example of like a very recent innovation. If we go to vSphere, right, for all the new AI data services, we've got like now 32 GPU for pass-through mode, right? We've got some vGPU. We increase the vGPU per VM. We've got DPU, a network offloading capabilities, and we've got continuous performance optimization with I operation. This is on the compute side. On the storage side, a lot of exciting announcements last year, right, with vSAN Max that brings petabyte scale disaggregated storage. Why it is important? Because basically you've got up to 30% lower TCO for your mission critical databases. And of course, vSAN ESA, right, with a lot of performance improvement, and we see like up to 80%, actually above 80% for Kafka, and 15% to NoSQL databases. Right, so all of this in the platform is helping to run data services better and better at every iteration. And a couple of weeks ago, the management and operation team announced the new release of a true visibility management pack that gives you insight into the application and databases specifically. Right. So Anders mentioned a quick poll. It's a very simple one, but Anders, can we do a quick poll to see the landscape of data services that we've got in the audience today?
Absolutely. We'll get that going right now. And we'll give everybody just a couple minutes to get that going. And the votes are pouring in. Thanks, everybody. Jumped right on it. About halfway there. All right. We'll give you about 30 more seconds. All right, I think we're good. So there we go. Looks like SQL Server's our winner. Can you see the results there?
So I cannot see the result on my screen, so I will need you to. Oh, okay, I can see them. Yes, SQL Server. I need to toggle between the screen. Okay. Yes. So interestingly, it's basically what we see as well from our telemetry. So not surprised about the results, and actually it confirmed very closely to what we see. So thank you everyone for answering. This is actually great. Um, so let me tell you a bit more now what we are doing, right? So 1 second. So as I said, right, as a platform, right, VCF is a we want this to be a comprehensive private cloud IaaS software solution, right? And our goal is to empower you, right, the IT teams to deliver the right infrastructure for all application and data services in particular, right? We do this with a modern infrastructure, right? Everything is software defined. We do it with a cloud experience. We want this to be easy to consume by your line of business that you are in your internal customer. And, you know, we need to say it, but everything needs to be secure and resilient at scale, right? So now let me show you how we can help you further for data services in particular. So today, when we listen to you, right, when you talk to our customer, you are balancing between business needs and technology trend. So if you look on the left side, when we talk to you, right, you need to ensure that data are secure, private. At the same time, you want performance, low latency, and you are looking very closely at cost, right, of the infrastructure. At the same time, you want, the line of business are pressuring usually internal IT to increase the pace of innovation, right? So this is basically your business needs on the left. On the right side, right, you've got some key trends that you need to manage more data, right? You need to do more with less. It's a typical, right, from the past 10 years I've been at VMware. And you need as well to support new use cases, right? Any presentation today cannot be complete without talking about AI and ML, but it is true, right? You've got your line of business saying, hey, we want to try this new use case, and it has an increasing range of data services, most of them open source, to support these use cases. Okay? But at the end of the day, you have the IT organization have to manage this proliferation of data services, right? Both in types and instances. And you need to do it with a consistent operational model and ensuring some SLOs, right, or service level objectives to your line of business. And we know it's not an easy task, right? It's actually very difficult. And managing a couple of different relational databases like SQL Server or Oracle with dedicated mature tool processes and team, like it was the case, 10 years ago, is not scalable. Okay, so how can we help you in this journey? So this is my last slide about the industry, and after I will tell you the innovation that we are bringing to VCF to help you. But let me try to summarize our strategy. It's pretty simple, right? We are really striving to deliver data services that are easy to deploy, run, monitor, and protect in your VCF-based environment. In other words, right, we want to make data as easy to consume and manage as we did and we are doing, right, for compute, storage, and networking today. To do that, we've got a two-pronged approach. The first one is we continue to ensure that VCF as a platform is the most performant, resilient, secure platform for all your data services. And we want to make sure that you've got consistent consumption, monitoring, and protection for all these data services. By the way, we've got an unmatched partner ecosystem. So we're working very closely with all these data services vendors to make sure that the platform is the best for their data services. And maybe something that you don't know, we've got actually a dedicated team that is solely focused on checking that workloads are running well on the platform. And I've got a link for you on the reference architecture later. So step number one, right? We continue to work on the platform. Number two, and this is what I will present later, we are taking a step further with some key data services with enhanced management and hardening. And actually, VMware is even supporting some of them to provide a natively integrated experience, right? End to end. Okay. So let's move to what we are doing in this second phase. The question that you may have is like, okay, so you just told us there's a lot of data services, there's a proliferation. Where do you start? So it's pretty simple. We are listening to you. We are looking at industry trends and at our telemetry. And there's a massive growth of open source relational database, right? This is coming from DB Engine. We see exactly the same trend in our telemetry. And most of you are lacking the mature tools, dedicated skills, and resources to manage. And it's not just to manage, but to take full advantage of these open source databases. Okay? And those open source databases have their unique set of challenges that you all need to solve. And open source database typically require several things, right? And each of them might require different things to make sure that they are enterprise ready. For example, being to automate and observe all these things meaningfully doesn't come out of the box. So what we see, if you go from left to right, and I will not go in all the details, but you see a lack of standardization, a lack of consistent automation, a lack of dedicated resources from IT teams for all these open source databases. And if you take this free one, this is when the business it creates some operational risk when to the business, right, being targeted when vulnerabilities are appearing. So how many of you had a Friday call, because it's always a Friday, to ensure that all the Postgres instances are patched to the latest version, right? Just getting to know which application are using which version of Postgres, I'm sure will require multiple people in your organization to spend the weekend, and they would be tracking the result with spreadsheets. Multiple customers said a very similar story to us, and we can help. So this is why VMware developed Data Services Manager a couple of years ago, and we are very excited that now it is part of the VCF offering. Our vision, right, is to empower you, the IT organization, with some key VCF native data services that are enterprise hardened and easy to manage at scale. So in other words, right now you can deliver database as a service to your line of business using the same VMware tools that you are familiar with. The customer outcomes, right, aligns to the VCF platform as a whole, right? Of course, the main goal for us is to help you to accelerate innovation in your organization. And how we do that? We do that with self-service, right? You want your line of business, your developer, to be able to access these data services by themselves. They can do that with IA automation or leveraging the CI/CD pipelines that your developers are already using today with our Kubernetes API. Right? Of course, cost and complexity is top of mind from any leadership right now, and we can do that with consistent operation, right, at scale. And the IT admin can use a vCenter plugin to do the jobs that they have to do, and the DBAs or the team responsible for the data engine can do all the automation within DSM, Data Services Manager. Sorry, a lot of acronym. DSM will be a Data Services Manager if I don't know how to say it fully. And the last one, of course, it's all around security and governance, right? And we've got infrastructure and data policies that works hand in hand to make sure that you've got peace of mind. So with DSM inside the VMware Cloud Foundation, we're really laser focused on two use cases. The first one is offering DBaaS for VMware Cloud Foundation. The second one, and I will not spend too much time about, but you might have heard an announcement that we did at GTC 2 days ago around private AI with NVIDIA. We are actually Data Services Manager provides the latest version of Postgres and PG vectors that are certified, hardened, and supported by VMware, right? And we do all the deployment, lifecycle management of Postgres with PG vector out of the box, right? Now, if you look at my slide, you might say either is really bad at layout, or there's something more coming. So actually, there is something more coming. And we announced a partnership with Google at Explore Barcelona last November, and I'm very, very excited that AlloyDB Omni is now available in DSM as tech preview, right? It is Postgres compatible, it has great performance, and it incorporates a lot of the AI innovation from Google. Right, so if you are not very familiar with AlloyDB Omni, I would really recommend you to check it out, especially when you are thinking about modernizing some of your application and backend databases. Okay, so I said, okay, we've got a two-pronged approach. So let me give you a bit more flavor of what does it mean. At a high level, you can see the difference between running data services like Oracle, SQL Server, on VCF. This is on the left side of the picture, and leveraging VCF native Postgres, for example, or MySQL, or AlloyDB Omni on the right. So when we say we do, let me focus on the new part with DSM. Right? When we say we do, for example, Postgres hardening, what does it mean? What does it mean exactly? It means we've got some policy-based Postgres provisioning through DSM. We've got automatic HA. We've got automated Postgres lifecycle management. We've got built-in database level monitoring and alert. We've got backup and restore, non-disruptive database updates, scaling, and configuration management, just to name a few. So you can do either or. But for Postgres and MySQL and the AlloyDB at the preview, we took this extra step to give you this natively integrated data engine part of VMware Cloud Foundation. Okay, just taking the time. So I was debating either to do a demo or not, and I decided not to do a demo, and the reason is because how many times I can show how to create a database through a UI or an API. I've got a link at the end. I say I've got 3 links. So one is on reference architecture. The second one is a practitioner blog with tons of videos at every step, depending on your role. So I just want to spend a bit of time on showing you some screenshots per personas and what you get, just to give you a flavor. But again, if you want videos, I've got a link at the end where you can spend all the time there. So let's start with the IT admin, right? If you think of the IT admins, they're responsible for the infrastructure. And we do have a plugin, a DSM plugin, is vCenter, because this is where they do most of their work. And just to give you few idea of what the IT admin can do, right? So easy deployment of DSM as an OVA. They can do database level infrastructure policy directly in vSphere for compute, network storage. They can do IP pool, VM sizing for database specifically. They can monitor the database usage, again, directly in vCenter. And they can, of course, leverage ARIA operation and logs to do deeper monitoring. Okay, so basically think of like they don't need to go to a different UI to do what they are doing. They can define everything that they need for database directly in vCenter. Now, let's talk about the DBAs, or, in some organizations, the DBAs will be actually even the IT admin or someone else. the name doesn't really matter. Think about the people that will be responsible for managing, the database. So let me build up actually, and I will just tell you, what they can do. They can do everything that is related to database. They can do database provisioning, they can do database security, they can do config customization. We give you full access to configure the database. They can do the upgrades, the patching. They can define which HA policies they want to follow. They can do backup and restore. They can define maintenance windows, when to do it. They can do cloning. And of course, they can do as well, their database monitoring on alert on the thresholds that they see fit. Right. So think about the life cycle in your organization, right? Someone will ask for a database, the IT admin will create or carve out the infrastructure that they need for this database. Another team or the same team will do the database, deployment, and define all the database parameters that are needed by the line of business. And at the end of the day, you will have, the developer or the end user accessing the database. They can do it through the UI, of course, but as we know, not a lot of developers will go through the UI. Most of it, they will go either from a self-service catalog from the ARIA automation, and we do have the integration out of the box, or they can use this Kubernetes API to bring DSM functionality, right? All the functionality are accessible through API directly into their CI/CD. And this is very powerful because now you don't really have what most of our customers, when you talk to a ticketing system, right? Everything can be done, following these workflows. Okay. So a couple of more slides for you. Just to recap what I've been saying, right? Our strategy is to make data as easy to consume, right? What we did with compute, network, and storage today. But we really want to empower you, to deliver these use cases to your end user. Right, this is really what we are trying to do. You can do it, with the tools that you are using today. And if you want to go further, now with DSM, you can have an end-to-end database as a service for your line of business. So we are starting with Postgres, MySQL. I forgot to say why we started with these two engines. We started with these two engines because we have a ton of experience with those two. Right? A lot of our product, as you might know, are leveraging Postgres. So we've got a lot of experience in-house. So we are able for these two engines to deliver end-to-end management and as well support. Right? We know it is not sufficient for you, so we will partner with a key database or data services vendor. And we are starting with Google, with Alloy DB Omni, and you will see my third link. We are looking forward to talk to you to see which are the next one that we can manage for you. Okay, so we do this two-pronged approach. One, for all data services, we ensure that the platform give you consistent operation and consumption of it and protection. And we do this native data services. Okay. So the links. I want to spend a bit of time on these links because for me, it's maybe the most important of the presentation. Okay. I did a 10,000 feet view of the presentation. I know all of you might have a specific question, specific environment. I will try to answer them. And we've got actually Rob as well answering question in the chat, who is the lead PM for Data Services Manager. But if you want to learn more, talk to me and to the product team on specific use cases, please take a minute to scan this QR code and just put your name, your email, and I will be able, and if you want to put more information, it's okay. But if you just do your name and your email, I will know that I will follow up with you onto one-to-one. So this is very important. So if you're interested to learn more, please, fill out this quick form. It's really like a few fields. Okay. And these are the two most important links. I try to make it very simple. On the left side, these are the reference architectures that our dedicated team is doing for all the data services. So I will highly recommend to bookmark this page. Actually, next week, we've got one that is released on Data Services Manager and how it integrates with our announcement for Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA. So there's a lot of great stuff. And if I saw a lot of Oracle and SQL Server, there's a lot of good reference architecture there that I will highly recommend to read. There's a quote from one of the person that really stick to me, like is engraved in my brain, is like 90% of the performance issues that we see at customers are usually based on some configuration that are very easy to change. So I know it's a lot of material, but I will highly recommend if you want to tune your infrastructure for uh, SAP, SQL Server, Oracle, I would highly recommend to bookmark the link on the left. And the link on the right, I said I didn't do a demo because we've got a blog, a practitioner blog with tons of them. This is the one on the right. There's any videos that you can imagine from deployment, monitoring, upgrading, patching. So this is why you want to go in the details to make sure that you can look at the videos that really interest you. Okay, I think I did 30 minutes on this.
Yeah, super good, man. So we've got some good time for Q&A. I know Robert's been working sort of behind the scenes to field a lot of the questions. We do have a couple of questions that are still in the hopper. Number one's what are some of the trends you see talking with the customers on the WRT database management on VCF?
Yes, yes, yes. So um, I think this is a very interesting question because it's aligned almost one-to-one to our poll at the start. So here are the key trends. Most, not most, all our customers are running SQL Server and Oracle, right? This is well established. They've got very mature tooling, right, from the vendors. They've got a very clear processes over the year, and they do have dedicated, not most, everyone got dedicated team, right, for those workloads. Um, so this is like it's a trend is there, right? At the same time, we see like a skew of open services, right? Data services to emerge, and this is a trend we see. Um, some vendors are, you can see, I will not quote the vendors, but you can see, it seems from the open source landscape, right, a convergence around Postgres. When I say Postgres, is vanilla Postgres, but as well Postgres compatible data engine, right? So we see these two trends. So, commercial database, for most critical application, right? They are here, they are everywhere in our customer. But we've got this emergence of open source, and we saw it. This was, we saw it on the tool, right? After Postgres and after SQL Server and Oracle, right? We had Postgres and MySQL. And it's exactly why we started with these two engines in Data Services Manager. It's exactly for this point. Because for the first two, we see customer having, hey, VMware, they run on VCF, we've got no problem, right? It runs well. Continue to do innovation, right? I want, just for Oracle, we've got a ton of innovation with vVol to make sure that we support Rack for Oracle. Continue to work with vendors to make sure that the VCF as a platform is the best one for those. But for the database itself, for the data engines, we do have what we need. And actually, if I want to go further, our DBAs don't really want to use your tool. But please, VMware, help us with this emerging trend of open source, because there it is difficult for us, right? So
Hmm.
this is why this two-pronged approach that align to the trend, if it makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah. So another question coming in here, we got asking, are we planning to support more than 3 data services with Data Services Manager? That's a big one.
Yeah, so it's difficult, right? It's a live webinar. The short answer, I think I can say yes, it's our plan, right? It makes sense. The what I would highly recommend, if we didn't put in the chat, there's a lot of data services, right? And we cannot just natively do the same things that. Let me take a step back. We do a lot of hardening for Postgres, MySQL, and DB Omni to make sure that it works very well on VCF. And if you are doing it by yourself, you know how difficult it is. Maybe it's not difficult in quotes to do this day zero type deployment for open source. However, it is very difficult to do consistent day 2, day 3, and so on operation, right? So there's a lot of IP that is going actually to make sure that we are doing the right thing. So to ensure that our customer, you know, we just deliver part of VCF, right? It's part of the box. You've got Postgres as a service, you've got MySQL as a service, you've got AlloDB as a service. So we want to talk to you, customer, right? So if, in this link, vr.vmware.com/dsm, tell us which one is missing. And we will put more, but we want to be very cautious about, we want to make something really good, right? So there's one that I can say because it was announced at Explore Barcelona, so it's public, but we are partnering with Minayo to work on Object Store, right? So this was announced at Explore Barcelona. You can look at the recording, but this is something that customers are really asking for. You can install Minayo today on VCF, right? You can do it yourself, but customers are like, hey, VMware, can you help us to do a bit better that is natively integrated? So I can just ask for Object Store as a service. And you, VMware, you take care of all the pipes, right? In between, because you know how the infrastructure is working, you can work with the vendors. So this is one that, I will not give timeline, but this is one that we are working. Then, we are listening to customers. We've got our telemetry. You asked me the trend in the previous question. We know which one are growing. We know which one are very important to you, but we need your input, on your side, like which one really you need and which one you are struggling, right? For example, Oracle, you told us, hey, we've got everything we need. We don't need this native integration. But which one of the open source you are looking, please reach out. We are listening. Oh, I
And
lost
that
one
get
there. Yeah,
Nope,
perfect.
that's okay. It was a minor hiccup. I'm still here. And that kind of bumps into our next question, which we've touched on in a couple of spots, but if we're planning to support Oracle and SQL Server in Data Services Manager.
Yeah, so I cannot really answer this question in a live setting. We are listening to customers, right? What we hear, what I can say, what I can hear is like for commercial engine, let's put SAP HANA or IBM DB2 in the mix, right? Most of our customer, they already, especially the one running those workloads, right? Like, they've got everything they need in terms of database management per se, right? Um, what maybe they're asking, it's a bit better integration with some of the existing components like ARIA operation, ARIA automation, a lot of demand. I mentioned when Oracle is introducing some new features to make sure that it is supported by the platform. But as I mentioned at the start, right, we've got literally a dedicated team like working hands to hands with the the software vendors, right, like the Oracle, Microsoft, right, for these workloads, but as well the hardware vendors to make sure we, something I forgot actually to mention, that we are making sure that we are taking, the best and the greatest hardware, out there to make sure that our platform is like leveraging those, right? So,
Mhm.
um, but we are listening to you. If you say, I didn't hear any Oracle DBAs that they want to use us to manage that database, but if it's something that your organization is like considering, again, please reach out to us and we will listen.
Fantastic. Yeah. And we've got a couple more questions in the queue, and we actually do have time for a couple more. So if you have questions, go ahead and get them in the queue, and we'll kind of get you back get you back on track here. So let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. How can we test the solution out?
How you can test the solution? The solution is there, right? The solution is now part of VCF.
Hmm.
So if you're a VMware customer, you can go to your customer connect, or you can connect to us. Again, I think my only link, right? Reach out to us and we can chat. It's available.
Hmm. And then let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, we were gonna. There's been an ask to review some of the questions that have happened behind the scenes because they're not available to all attendees. I will actually recap those after our next live one. Let's see. Sarah from DCX Presale. I need to know the minimum to maximum server provision, CPU, memory, and storage. Can we use existing licenses using VCF? And uh, old SQL version is supported? Question mark.
This is a lot of question. I don't want to say something wrong, like, but
Hmm.
Sarah, if you can reach out to me, I will. Sarah, right from DX, I think,
Hmm.
right. Reach out to me again, the same link, and I will answer like exactly with like links to the technical documentation. I didn't put as a link as a technical documentation. If you go to doc.vmware.com, I believe, right, data services manager, you will have more. But if you want an answer, please reach out to me. I think the easiest would be the link or through LinkedIn, and I will answer to you.
Awesome. And then just to recap some of the questions that were handled earlier, is Data Services Manager available today? And yes,
Yes.
so it is GA, so we're good to go there. And then let's see, got another one down here.
Just
Is
one,
V
one, just what on the, sorry, just make sure it is not only GA, but it has been a product for a couple of years, right? So it has been there for quite some time. Now it is part of VCF, right? So the VMware Cloud Foundation. And well, I say the next iteration is part because now you will see a lot of good integration with a different part of VCF. And I think you will see the power of the full stack. Having said that, the only requirement for data services manager is vSphere, right? You don't need any other component. So just want to make this clear.
awesome. And then the last one was if we're supporting Postgres and MySQL, and the answer there is yes, we are supporting those bits as well as the automation around them. So if
Yes.
yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to illustrate on that.
Let me
Um,
know. Actually, it's a very important question.
mhm.
The answer is yes, but I think people are usually not uh, seeing us as a vendor, right, to support those. But so for those two, the answer is yes. We support end to end, and I think this is very important. You just have one call to make for the database, for the management, for everything, and this is because we've got 2 decades of experience in Postgres and MySQL, and this is why we can do it. For
Mhm.
Alloy DB Omni, this is Google. So for database support, this will come from Google, but we are working, the two vendors together to make sure that it's a good customer experience.
Outstanding. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think that kind of gets us to the end of our question stack. I'm not seeing anything else coming in. again, thanks to Robert for tackling a lot of those behind the scenes, and I know we've got Simon working the wizard dashboard behind the curtain, keeping everything running here. So that's looking super good. So with that, I think we're just about there. Any parting words for us before we sign off today?
No, no, thank you. More. Thank you for joining this webinar. Again, this was a 10,000 foot view. There's a lot of content, on the VMware site about if you want to go in the details, well, really technical details. And if you've got any question, if you're interested to learn more, reach out to us through the Google form. And, and I think I put my LinkedIn at the start, so you can,
Mhm.
you can reach out if anything missing. But thank you very much, and thank you, Anders.
Absolutely, and thank you again for coming to visit and sharing with us today. Just a reminder, we will be back on next week talking about with VMware and native AI, and we're going to be running a lot of webinars over the course of the next couple of months. In fact, we're going to be bringing you content all the way through to December, so keep your eyes peeled out for invites both through this platform as well as coming to you live through LinkedIn Live. We're going to be doing that once a month. We've got a lot more special guests coming in to share some good content with you. And again, don't forget, if you don't mind, please uh, take the questionnaire at the end of the session here. If you don't get it immediately off the end of this meeting, for those of you who came in by an email invite, that will be emailed out to you. That helps us to both get positive and constructive feedback from you to help shape our program better and make sure that you're getting the most out of this program that you want and that it's a good use of your time. So thanks again to everybody today, and we look forward to seeing most of you next week.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye bye.